DLSS 5 appeared yesterday out of nowhere and everybody hates it. It adds some sort of AI layer to transform faces, but we are deep in the uncanny valley here. Some of the examples genuinely made me feel a bit sick, but will CIG and Chris Roberts be tempted to put this in Squadron 42? If you missed this whole thing, nvidia released a load of video demos and Digital Foundry put out a hands-on video looking at the next generation of DLSS. According to nvidia, it takes the game's color and motion vectors for each frame as input and uses an AI model to infuse the scene with photoreal lighting and materials that are anchored to source 3D content and consistent from frame to frame. DLSS runs in real time at up to 4K resolution for smooth, interactive gameplay. Now, this is still a long way from release. nvidia is saying fall, and we'll come back to that in a bit. But currently, in order to get smooth interactive gameplay that they're talking about, they're using two 5090s. So we'll really have to see how this performs when it does arrive, because yeah, I think this might not be viable for most people. The demos released were for a few different games, but on this channel, we obviously only care about Star Citizen and Squadron 42. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, I wonder if CIG will at least play around with this. Chris Roberts is very much trying to push boundaries and make a AAA Squadron experience. Something like ray tracing, which we'll talk about in a bit, has been added to the game in the last few years, I think because CIG want their game to stand up to anything else on the market. So would they want to see what DLSS 5 does to Gary Oldman's face? Well, I decided to do that job for them. I threw a few shots from the Squadron 42 prologue in 2024 into some AI and generated these examples. Prepare yourself. First up, we have hyper-realistic Gary Oldman. And do you know what? This isn't the worst thing. This probably looks better. And again, obviously, the key thing to say here is this is just offline, a static image. It's not what DLSS 5 is doing, which is real-time updating, doing this live. This is a completely different thing. So you can't expect this to look better, but he does look hyper realistic, I suppose. Gillian Anderson, though, here has been significantly aged by AI. I'm not sure why they've done this, but they've kind of, yeah, just made her look quite a lot older, which I'm not sure why. They've also, for some reason, changed the color of her badge, but this is kind of some of the concerns around DLSS 5. Will it just change things just because that's what it thinks it should look like? It's an interesting question. Next up, we have this character who is in the flight deck. He looks a lot more detailed, grizzled, but I mean, the interesting thing is the original models all look pretty good. And some might say kind of, they're close to some of the best stuff that you might see in games. At this stage, I ran out of AI credits. And so I was forced to use the free version here, which was Adobe's Firefly thing. You can see here, this is kind of more of the direction that DLSS 5 goes in. It just completely changes the face here. Like, it's changed from, I think, a really good, so this is the player model that's done in the prologue demo. This is the player that we're playing as. Looks really good. The original looks really good, but I don't know what on earth the AI has done here, but it's gone to this weird, again, what people are saying about DLSS 5, just this AI slop look. It's horrible. Even worse, when I gave it Gary Oldman, oh dear. Doesn't look good at all. He does now not look like a real person in any sense. He looks, again, AI sloppy. And then the last version, Gillian Anderson. This isn't actually as dramatic as the other one. So again, there's this variation in quality, which you kind of see with NVIDIA's examples. Some of them look kind of okay, some of them look awful. I mean, I think ultimately, like I said, CIG's faces are already pretty spectacular. We haven't seen how much further they pushed things in the last couple of years. These examples are 2 years old. And based on everything we've seen in terms of graphics, the thing I always say is that you should never worry about CIG and graphics. It's the one thing they've shown they've consistently improved and they've consistently done really well with. I'm not worried about Squadron's graphics, and I'm not worried about the characters' faces. I think they'll probably be top of the line. They'll be industry leading, I would imagine. And so do they need to chuck the whole game through an AI filter? Well, almost definitely not. But I'm sure the devs will be a little bit curious just to see what it would do. Will it transform what's already amazing to another level? Probably questionable based on what we've seen. Some of the examples that NVIDIA gave are truly horrifying. The Harry Potter faces are nightmare fuel. Some of the Starfield ones kind of look pretty decent. and then other ones just look really unsettling. But maybe if you do throw in a really good quality character, maybe it might come out okay. We'll have to see. I'd be interested if I was CIG just to try it. That would be what my think would be. But I do think the overwhelming negative reaction to DLSS 5 will probably send nvidia back to the drawing board. I'm pretty shocked that they thought, oh, here's some examples we've made. Let's show everybody. They just don't look good in any way. I'm shocked they showed everybody. I would guess that they'll tune the model away from this AI girlfriend look that it's currently got, and they'll come back with something toned way down. I suppose the other thing that's kind of worth maybe saying is that when DLSS originally came out, the upscaling, it was also slammed pretty hard by everybody. It wasn't very good. All the usual suspects on the internet, on YouTube, they looked at it, they reviewed it and thought, this isn't good. This isn't a good thing for the gaming industry. But as they've improved it with each release, it's now pretty much accepted by everybody. And I suppose if I had to look really carefully for something, maybe a glimmer of hope with this, is that maybe over time it would dramatically improve, and it would have to dramatically improve from what we're seeing today. There is, though, one aspect. I'm gonna stand up here, put my head above the parapet and say, maybe there's one thing here that might be worth considering for Squadron. Not seriously, but I'll say it anyway. The faces are obviously horrifying, but what it does to the lighting of environments, I think, is a tiny bit, at least, intriguing. We can definitely argue about whether it's right to completely change the art style of a game with just a click, but I think some of these examples look pretty good. Could you have DLSS 5 but without the faces? That would be my question. I mean, nvidia says that it provides developers with detailed controls for intensity, color grading, and masking, so artists can determine where and how enhancements are applied to maintain each game's unique aesthetic. I mean, they are just words that they put in a press release, so who knows what that actually looks like. But I do wonder if CIG might be interested in applying this kind of location color grade almost that it's doing to their Squadron locations. But again, maybe CIG just don't even need to try that out, because Chris Roberts has recently confirmed that ray tracing is now in Squadron.
Ray tracing is, will be coming to Star Citizen because it's in Squadron right now, and it will come across into Star Citizen.
And so maybe the environments in the game will just look good enough already that they don't need this AI pass to take them to a new level. It's going to be an interesting one. I would love to know what your comments are in the comment section below. I think I can already guess that most people are going to be massively against CIG adding this to Squadron 42. But let me offload to you something that I started to worry about when I was thinking about this. That fall release date for DLSS 5 would be around when Squadron 42 could release if, and it's a very big if it still drops in 2026. Would it be the craziest thing you've ever heard if CIG and nvidia were cooking up something for the release of the game using DLSS 5? I really hope not, but we'll have to see.